We continue here. The National Freedom Party says it will honor the invitation of the uMkhonto weSizwe party since both parties want KZN Premier Thami Ntuli removed. The MK party is seeking to dismantle the IFP-led government of provincial unity through a vote of no confidence in Ntuli. The NFP, meanwhile, has accused Ntuli of weak leadership and a lack of accountability. Let's unpack this and other developments with the political analyst, Dr. Levy Ndou. Dr. Ndou, good to have you on the program this evening. So the NFP's leader, Ivan Barnes, has called the IFP-led coalition abusive and even accused Premier Thami Ntuli of lacking accountability. From a political analyst standpoint, what does this reveal about the internal dynamics, especially of the KZN government of provincial unity?
Good evening, Chancellor. Good evening to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me. This could be an indication that things are not going on very well in the government of provincial unity, because if you reach a point where other parties that are part of government would go all out, like how the NFP has done, it tells you that there could have been attempts to have some discussions to take place, or they could have raised their concerns earlier, and it could be that such concerns are not being taken seriously. And what I think the NFP is using as a strategy is to go out to the public and say, we have tried to engage the IFP and we have reached a point where we feel that things are not going our way, and that is why they've decided to come out to the public to issue this ultimatum publicly. And that, for me, opens an opportunity for other parties who want to see that government collapsing, like the MKP, which has always eagerly been waiting and looking for any form of an opportunity that they could use in order to ensure that the government there does not succeed. And this will be an opportune time for the MKP to take advantage of this situation. And that is why there are discussions between the MKP and the NFP.
Also interesting is that the NFP only holds one seat in the provincial legislature, Dr. Ndou, yet its withdrawal could symbolically shake up this GPU. How much political weight does such a move actually carry in real terms from what we see?
We don't know what other parties would be thinking if the NFP would pull out. If it's only the NFP that gets out, they can still continue with that government if other parties or other members from other parties won't get out. But you also have a party like the EFF, which has got 2 seats, which if they might also therefore join with the NFP and the MK party, which unfortunately is not likely, then we can see a shakeup. But I think even though there could be the withdrawal of the NFP from the government, it will also signal that things are not going on well in that government. And my view is that in a situation similar to this one, that is where political parties will need each other so that they are able to create stability in government, and ordinary citizens will therefore become the beneficiaries.
But there seems to be a leadership rift within the NFP itself, with Ivan Barnes and Bali Shinga pulling in opposite directions, really. How might this internal division then affect the party's credibility and also its influence going forward?
The strength of political parties depends on the cohesion and unity of leadership. And when you have a situation where in a party like the NFP, which is not that of a much bigger party, and there is this kind of rift, it is not good for the party, because it will mean that you have got members who would possibly be on the other side and others on the other one. And that is a potential to negatively divide the party. It is also very interesting that at the press conference, there is always an emphasis by the president, Mr. Barnes, that this is the position that has been taken by the leadership of the NFP, and he was trying his best to assure the citizens that if we think that indeed that rift is something that we should take seriously, he tried his best to downplay that so that ordinary people should still have confidence in the party. But my view is that it will be in the best interest of the NFP to focus on the party cohesion, to ensure that the party is strong and it speaks in one voice, so that even when they take decisions that will affect their standing in the government of provincial unity, it should have the support of all the influential members of the party and goes down to the ordinary rank and file of the party. And if they are divided on issues similar to this one and heading towards the local government elections, that, in my view, is not good for the party like the NFP.
Yeah. Barnes also describes the coalition as having a quote-unquote big brother mentality. Is this a common feature then in coalition governments from what you've viewed? And what does it say about power-sharing culture in South African provincial politics this time?
These are common issues that are raised on a regular basis. And I think even though we talk about coalitions or government of provincial unity, there are certain individuals who would be given certain responsibilities that are bigger than those in the coalition. The Premier has got executive powers to take certain decisions. Thou we put an emphasis on consultation and moving together. There are times in which some decisions that can be taken by the provincial leadership might not go well with all the coalition partners. And that, in my view, could be issues that can bring tensions at that level. But what we also need to acknowledge is the fact that because you have agreed to be part of government, you must also be able to embrace differences, but have a much easier way to be able to move beyond those differences and focus on the activity, on the benefits of the ordinary citizens. What would also be worrying, which we might not be privy to, could be that there could be certain issues that could have been raised by the NFP with the provincial leadership, which the provincial leadership might not be able to meet. And that could be the reason for this kind of rift, because it has always been the case that parties that are that will appear to be smaller would always want to create demands which might not be easily met by those that are in power. So hence you hear them talk about the big and small brother mentality. That will always be the case because the responsibilities will define how you're supposed to act and conduct yourself whilst you're in government.
Yeah. Dr. Ndou, the MK party's push for a motion of no confidence in Premier Ntuli adds another layer of instability in the province. Do you think this is a calculated power play by the MKP or a genuine response to poor leadership in KZN?
Whether we like it or not, the MKP is the party that is eagerly waiting for any form of instability and conflict in the government of provincial unity so that they should take advantage of that. We must also bear in mind that the MKP is the party that has got more seats compared to other political parties in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So every little opportunity that would create a situation where they can be able to get fewer members supporting their move is something that they will always be eagerly waiting for. And that would be good opportunity for the MKP to run the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And what I can assure you is that in this situation, the parties that are in the government of provincial unity could be working very hard to ensure that they maintain stability, they ensure that they are intact, so that they should avoid any form of infiltration. Because if such could happen, it will benefit the MKP.
Yeah. And lastly, Dr. Ndou, if this GPU collapses, what kind of political realignment might we expect in KZN? And what could that mean for the balance of power between the IFP, the ANC, the DA, and MK party?
It will require a new realignment. It can still be that the MKP could try its best to find other partners to work with, which is unfortunately unlikely. You have got the EFF on the other hand, which is not in a very good working relationship with the MKP. On the other hand, you have got the Democratic Alliance in the picture, which cannot be in a position to work with the EFF because of their dynamics at national level. So it's something that politicians will have to grapple with, but in the end of the day, be able to find one another. It will not be an easy project for those that are involved in KwaZulu-Natal, because if you look at the numbers will put them in a situation where creating a government that is led by the MKP could be something very, very difficult. But another thing that we need to acknowledge is that the NFP, having made these threats, is still open to go back and negotiate with the partners in the government of provincial unity. So anything can happen. Thou would not know what would be on the table. They could still go back and still support the government that is in place. My view is that if there are other rifts that will take place in KwaZulu-Natal, it will be something very interesting to watch.
And that brings us to the end of this conversation. A very big thank you to our guest, Dr. Levy Ndou, sharing those sharp insights on the unfolding political drama in KwaZulu-Natal, the province that continues to test the strength and sincerity of coalition politics in South Africa. Dr. Ndou has been giving us his perspective on this developing situation.